I am thou, thou art I, and this is Persona 5. Persona 5 is the long-awaited follow-up to Persona 4. I jumped into the series at Persona 4 Golden on the PS Vita, which was and remains my favorite Vita game. Persona 5 has been worth the wait. In between there, I've played some Shin Megami Tensei, but those games, as much as I like them, never quite did it for me the way that Persona 4 did. So I've been eagerly awaiting Persona 5, and I'm so pleased that it is as good as it is. It is really quite an impressive video game in just about every way. Probably the most fundamental difference between Persona 4 and Persona 5, at least in terms of the beginnings of both those games, is that whereas Persona 4 took a really long time to sort of get ramped up, and I almost gave up on that game a few times because I had no experience in the series, and I almost just decided that it was too much. But eventually it kicked in, and it just became such a wonderful, wonderful game. I'm so glad I didn't give up on it. But Persona 5, on the other hand, you begin in media res, right in the middle of the action, and it doesn't really let go. The twin stories of your experience in the real world, at school, with friends and teachers, and then in the other world, the shadow world, the inner world of all these people's problems. These two stories sort of take off at once. You don't have a long wait before you're dungeon delving. That happens pretty much right away, which is great. I really, really like that as far as changes go. One thing I liked about, especially in retrospect, about Persona 4 was that the mystery was really tantalizing, and it took a while to really get a grasp of what was going on. I mean, this was kind of, I think, a turnoff to some people, and it almost turned me off. But I loved that sort of melancholic world that you found yourself in Persona 4. People disappearing, these things that happened whenever it rained, the midnight channel, the world beyond the TV. None of that happens right away. I mean, it all sort of builds up, and there's this great sense of mystery. And while there is still a sense of mystery in Persona 5, it's like you get into the core of the game much quicker, and so it's a little less mysterious. It's a good trade-off, I think. I wouldn't have it any other way because I so enjoy the fact that this game gets off to such a great start. And that really is, it's not just that you're in the action sooner, it's that things are explained a little bit better. There's a little bit less ambiguity. All the systems are sort of revealed in a way that you can really follow along a little bit better. It just feels like the game was a little more thought out, and that makes sense because the designers have a lot more experience now. So that's really nice, and there is still mystery, quite a bit of it, and the story is sort of told in flashback form, and so you know that something's going on in the present. You don't really know why it's going down the way it is, but something's going on, and you're sort of recounting what happened in the past in bits and pieces. And, that's an age-old story format. You could look at something like True Detective. That's told in a series of interviews, recollections. In terms of the gameplay itself, there's a lot of similarities to the previous game. There's in combat. It's still a turn-based system where you will choose from your personas and their various powers or skills, And these each have sort of an elemental quality like fire, or guns, or melee, or ice, wind, etc. And you get new personas and new skills as you progress, and each of your different teammates that you meet and can take with you have their own. They level up, they gain skills for their personas, and so forth. So this is all very similar. There are some differences in terms of how combat plays out. There's the hold up system, which you can do the all-out attack still like before, but now you have a few more options, talking options with the enemies you find, and you can gain personas. Honestly, it's been a while since I played Persona 4 Golden, so I don't have as clear a recollection of how exactly these differences play out as I probably should. But it all plays out so slick, and that's another thing. The game itself, just from head to toe, is just a shining example of polish, and it is the slickest, sleekest, most stylish game you'll ever lay your hands on. I swear to God, they have gone to every bit of trouble to make this just one moment of stylish design after another. You're just bombarded with it after every battle, in the menus, with the music, which is fantastic. I mean, it's similar to the music from Persona 4, but there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like it's the design is so impeccable here that I can only gush. That's all I can do is gush, because so many games have clunky UI, or don't really pay attention to detail when it comes to these things, like transitioning from one load screen to another, or from after a battle. But this one just throws it in your face, and it's just a joy. I mean, it's a joy to behold. And then in between a lot of these moments, there's some great hand-drawn animation cutscenes, I guess, that aren't created in engine. These are actually they look like a cartoon anime, and those are fantastic. So just all of that combined it just makes for such a pleasant experience. So you have this dungeon delving survival element, turn-based strategy. Then you have the real world, where you have to you build friendships with confidants, and increase your social bonds with them. You increase your stats like knowledge and kindness, guts, things like that allow you to talk to different people, or do different things that you weren't able to do before. You have to put time into, you have to manage time. Do you read a book? Which book do you read? Do you want to go to the laundromat and clean off some gear? Do you want to go try to find supplies, and or you do practice at the batting cage? All these different activities, but you have limited time. It's funny that the load screen in this game says "take your time," because you can't really. You never waste time. You're either sleeping, you're at school, work, etc. You're deciding who to spend time with, and all these things matter. So anyone familiar with the series is used to all that stuff. Here it's here again, it's almost like the beginning hours of the game, rather than just sort of throwing these things at you and leaving you a little puzzled about what to do. This one really holds your hand a lot more. And in terms of a game like this, which is 120 hours long, having a decent opening stretch where you actually learn how to play the game properly is really useful, and I really appreciate it. I think it's great for newcomers, but I also think it's great for people who have played these games before. Not because you necessarily need to relearn systems, but because it's more entertaining. There's more story sort of right off the bat that you can latch onto, and that's really nice. So yeah, I have not finished the game. I am not playing games in huge marathon stretches in my old age. I have 2 kids, girlfriend, hobbies, and everything else. And I strive all the time for a good, healthy work, play, life balance. So I think you can learn a lot from a game in its first 10 or 15 hours, and you know, that's where I'm at, maybe about 15 hours in, and I am gonna keep playing. This year has been crazy busy for games already. It's been an amazing year, especially for Japanese games. You've got to think about this. We've had Neo, which was fantastic, huge game, very difficult, challenging game. Zelda Breath of the Wild, again a wonderful game, just absolutely absorbing and unique. Nier Automata, which I've barely played, unfortunately, but it came right when Mass Effect Andromeda came, and honestly, I needed a break from all these JRPGs for a minute, and I wanted to go play with some funny facial animations for a bit, and even Mass Effect Andromeda is a pretty good game, really. I mean, it's got a lot of problems, but it's a huge game, and it has its charm, and it's a story I want to keep pursuing. And now there's the Dark Souls 3 DLC, The Ring City, which I'm going to be playing. So, Jesus, how can we even keep up with all these games this year? I mean, as a reviewer, it's just a matter of time. Where do you put your time? I mean, I didn't even mention like Horizon Zero Dawn and some other titles that have come out. For gamers, it's often it's where you put your money as well as your time, and so that's really that's the job of someone like me, is to talk about the games we really like, the games we think are crap. Well, Persona 5, is excellent so far, and God, if it were only what I've played, it would be worth the asking price. But it's so much more than that. It's a huge game, and one that I think anybody who likes this series or who has an interest in turn-based strategy games or JRPGs should really check out, because it's fantastic. And we'll see as I keep playing. We'll see if if the characters are as interesting, if I bond with them as much as the characters from Persona 4. I think so. I mean, so far I really love the characters, and I love some of the twists that this game has from the last game. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. I will continue to play and have more thoughts on the game. It's interesting story about youth, teenage angst, education system, how grown-ups are shitheads, and I never want to grow up, because seriously, these people every grown-up in this game is such a dick. I don't get it. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.
That's a new one, isn't it?
Okay. It's somewhere. Focus.
Right.
I'll reveal your true form.
I don't see a weakness.
Persona! Let's go, Captain!
We're on the ground! Nice going, Skull!
Let's tear him apart!
Okay, guys, let's do it!
Nothing out of this one.
Persona!
You'll kill me here.
Persona!
What? Try to create. trying to cremate me?
Check out this new skill! Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Woohoo! That was hairy.
I can feel it. I can feel it. I have something.
We can get it now!
For real?
Joker!
Focus. Persona! Eat this!
Oh, Skull, you're pathetic. Failure! Ugh, I got too reckless. I'll back out and focus on support.
Yeah, keep smiling, buddy.
Persona! Go down!
All according to plan.
Let's get this over
Give
with.
him Persona!
We're on the ground. Nice going, Skull. Okay, guys, let's do it! Skull's in trouble. Someone
Yeah,
fix
keep
him up.
smiling.
Let's go. Let's see. Incubus! There!
Skull, are you okay? What's your help? How about this?